Having a full-time job is not a problem. It actually can make you stronger. Your problem is actually not managing your time well. Even before I got my first IT job after university, I knew that deep down, I didn't want to stay in this 9 to 5 for the rest of my life. Even being surrounded by coworkers who have stayed on in my company and doing the same-ish role for 20 over years, which normally is a sign of a good company or a good job, I still had no desire to stay for that long. I wanted more out of my life. I figured this can't be the end goal, or this can't be the rest of my life. I did not want to do the same work for 30 over years and retire at the age of 65 doing the same thing for all those time, especially when it's work that I had no interest for, which is the current full-time job that I have. With that in mind, I knew that there was something outside of this job that I wanted to pursue. I wanted to build a life that I could finally live and be proud of. That proved difficult when you have to spend 45 plus hours a week on your day job. On top of that, it left me with little energy and little time to actually work on my passion outside of the work. It felt like I was living on a hamster wheel of a life, constantly doing the same things on repeat every day. I wake up, go to work, go to the gym, eat, watch some TV or play some video games, go back to sleep, repeat. After 2 years of struggling and watching my life go by, I finally figured out a way to properly manage my time and achieve goals that I set for myself, even with a full-time job. For the last year, the results have shown. I've built a small beach selling business that has now accumulated me $1,000 per month, and I've grown this YouTube channel to over 5,000 subs. I've also been working out more consistently, getting visible results with my physique, all while still able to spend time with my friends, family, and my girlfriend. Although I still feel like I'm not even close to reaching my peak, I am extremely grateful for the life I have right now. In this video, I'll be sharing you the 5 exact steps I followed to build a system to achieve my goals. Step number 1, timekeeping. This is a very simple exercise that you can do. This exercise is crucial because it allows you to finally gain clarity over how you're spending your time during your day. Without this, you will stay stuck in that hamster wheel of a life that I spoke about earlier. I use Google Calendar for this exercise. It's free and you can download it on your phone. To start, use Google Calendar and block out things that you can't avoid in your week. For example, you could include 10 hours of your day because of your job, which includes getting ready and commuting. After that, we want to include at least 8 hours of sleep, 2 hours of eating, an hour of exercise each day. Also include any other commitments that you simply cannot avoid in your week right now. Add those hours up and then subtract it from 168 hours. The amount of time you have now is the amount of time you have to freely choose to do what you want to do. Start tracking the amount of time you take to do for each activity at the end of the day. Step 2 is clarifying your goals. In this step, I want you to zoom out, clarify what you wish you had time for. You clicked on this video because you want to better manage your time, but what is your why? Without a clear and strong why, the pain of not achieving this goal is simply not great enough for you to succeed in this. So before we go any further, ask yourself these questions. Why do I want to better manage my time? What goal am I working towards that my job is hindering me to achieve it? For example, for me, is to achieve financial, location, and time freedom by building my music business and replacing it with my full-time job. For you, it could be something similar. Whatever the goal is, make sure that it's clear and it's something that you're really willing to work for. After that, you're now ready for the next step. Step 3, setting your priorities. Here we will talk about 3 different types of tasks. They are essential tasks, non-essential tasks, and this sort of gray area of things you do that is not either essential or non-essential. We will call them gray tasks. For example, if you're a music producer like me, making music, filming and editing content can be considered as essential tasks. Everything else can be either considered non-essential or gray tasks. Netflix, anime, parties, outings, video games, I would say are non-essential tasks. I will even go further and call them time sink activities. The reason why I call these activities time sink activities is because the amount of hours you spend on these activities can really slowly creep up on you. I'm not telling you to rise and grind Gary Vee style and work 25/8. Simply put, the amount of hours you spend on those activities are very unlikely to enhance and push you towards your goals. These activities are okay when you're using them as a reward, but ultimately making music comes first. And finally, the gray area tasks. These are tasks like watching tutorials or researching new plugins, learning a new instrument. They are great, but ultimately making more music is the most essential task as a music producer. These are the kind of activities you want to try to optimize. So for example, if you notice you spend 5 hours a day binge watching music tutorials, you might want to cut that down to like 30 minutes or maximum an hour. So after all of that, you should only really have 1 to 2 essential tasks. If you find that you have more, it means that you probably need to filter out further on what activities are actually essential, or you can even start thinking about outsourcing these activities. Interestingly enough, you will soon realize that you actually don't even need a lot of time to get your essential tasks done. My name is Ken, and I make videos on topics that I'm interested in. Right now, productivity and helping you better manage your time to build a life that you want is something that I'm really interested in. So if you like videos like these, do me a favor, scroll down, click on the subscribe button, and you will see more videos like this on your homepage. The next step I want to talk about after clarify your goals is the 4th step, structuring your day. To start this step, I want you to draw out a table like so. Fill in your tasks and rate them based on priority and resistance. For priority, you want to rank them in order of importance. So 1 being the most important, and then you just kind of go descending order. And for resistance, there is a scale. We will put 10 as being most resistant and 1 being least resistant. Least resistant being it doesn't take you any effort to even start the tasks. I always advise my clients to start the day doing tasks high in priority and resistance. I'm the same. For example, it is 7:27 a.m. right now. If you don't believe me, here you go. 7:27 a.m. on a public holiday, by the way. You will get a huge sense of accomplishment and relief, and honestly, the rest of the day is plain sailing at that point. Mornings are also really good because you tend not to be distracted and disturbed at 6 a.m. in the morning, allowing you to be more consistent with that task. I've learned this from Ryan Holiday's Discipline is Destiny. And in the book, he gives an example of Toni Morrison, who also wakes up early in the morning to write, which is her most essential task. And she has gone on to be a famous writer, all while being a single mother with 2 kids to raise and a full-time job. Because as soon as her kids wake up and her job starts, she will start to have less and less time for her to do what's important to her. People are also awake past 9 a.m., so the likelihood of you being disturbed exponentially increases. You're also more likely to push the task to the next day because it's getting late and you're tired. So it's better to get the important tasks done first thing in the morning where you are fresh and unlikely to be disturbed. Again, start with the high priority tasks, put them in the first thing in the morning if you can, and slowly list out all the other activities in descending order of priority and resistance. The last step I want to talk about is actually using your weekends effectively. With a full-time job, the weekends are essentially your best friend. This is what separates high achievers from normal people. I like to treat the weekends as another day of work, but instead of having to work for your company or for your boss, you're working for yourself. I'm not saying you need to spend the entire weekend working and grinding all day, because that will lead to burnout, causing you to quit and give up on your dreams, which is not what we want. Using the weekend to rest and recover can also be seen as a productive way to use your weekend. This can include spending more time with your friends, family, or loved ones, or even just sleeping in an extra hour on the weekend. You don't want to waste it by partying, going out late and drinking, because this effectively would ruin the entire weekend with like a bad hangover, for example. However, if there is a business or a project or a goal that you are really heavily invested in and you really feel like this is what you want to do, I highly encourage you to spend a couple hours, even on the weekends, to work towards your business. This is because you can then use the time here to make up for the lack of time that you might have during the week. I guess step 6, little bonus tip. If you can find a job that allows you to work remotely, which after the pandemic, there has seen an uprise in remote work, get one, because this will allow you to save a lot more time and a lot more energy throughout the day. This is what I have right now. I'm currently working a full-time job, but it's remote. So I don't have to go into work every day and waste about 2 hours a day just stuck in the traffic because of rush hour. Because of that, my output has increased further and I have more time and brain power to work on my music business for like this. To conclude, try not to look at your full-time job as just some soul-sucking thing that you have to do. It's really a stable way for you to make an income, for you to then use it to invest in a business or a side project of yourself. It also teaches you to better manage your time, because if you can't manage your time well, even with a full-time job, what makes you think that you can do that when you're your own boss? Like Toni Morrison, there are people out there with harder circumstances and less time, and yet achieving more. I think if she's able to do it, like, what's stopping you and I? If you want personal help from me to improve your productivity and to figure out the best schedule for you to achieve your goals, scroll down, click the top link in the description, and let's get started. Take the first step to create a better future for yourself right now. And yeah, thank you. I'll see you next week.